Resident Evil 6.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again, introducing you to my Resident Evil 6 professional difficulty video walkthrough. This is the fight against mutated Derek 2.0 as he turns into something reminiscent of a T-Rex, and to look at this encounter, this arena, everything here looks well designed. It looks cool, it looks fun. It's not. And the reason why is this boss takes a ridiculous amount of punishment. This is a 14-minute video of me attacking this boss. 14 minutes of attacking this boss. It's completely unnecessary. It's really, really unnecessary. And I'm also going to be doing this at a slightly slower pace than you perhaps could be, because I want to save my ammo, because I know there are extra forms to this fight. This fight doesn't want to end. And to some people, that might sound like a good idea, but in this game, it isn't, because it takes the piss. So the strategy that I'm going to be using in this video is I run around the environment getting as much ammo as I can. I stun the T-Rex to do damage with the barrels, and then I shoot either the core of his back when it's opened up, or the eyeball in his face. The back is easier to hit, the core of the eye is much more difficult. When he turns human, I hit him till I stun him with either the Magnum or the shotgun, and then I do the quick time event. Couple of things to note. There's a crust that forms on his back. It's like an exoskeleton. It's a shield for his weak spot, or one of them, and if you shoot it you will actually shatter the crust, and it enables you to then shoot it to do damage, and Ada in the chopper can shoot it as well to do damage. So that is one of the ways to do it. I do think that shooting his eye does more damage, but it's also more difficult, and I was not willing to waste any ammo in this fight. There's also a vehicle in this room, a Humvee, that's got a mounted gun. I use it for a little bit, but I don't prioritise it because you can die really easily when you're on it, so do not rely on it, it's dangerous. But for everything else, guys, this is a boss fight that is far too long, that is nowhere near as exciting as the developers think it is, and by the end of it, you're going to be bored, bored to your tits, because the boss takes more damage, more ammunition than 50 Cent does to die. It's ridiculous. There's no need. It's not difficult. It's a test of patience. It's a power, it's a test of willpower. That's all it is. And if you have the patience, you'll be fine. The only things to bear in mind, if the boss comes for you, he's pretty much an instant down or an instant kill. If he knocks a vehicle and the vehicle hits you, good night. You're dead. Nothing you can do. That might be because my life is low. Maybe if your life's higher, it's not an insta-kill, but I would treat it as if it is. That way you're going to just play better, you're going to be more aware, you're going to, hopefully not make any sloppy mistakes, don't get greedy, don't try to rush this, because this boss fight takes the piss anyway. But I'm now going to proceed to talk about The Walking Dead, because it's a good show, and I watched the second episode of the third season the other day. So for anybody that's not up to date, please don't listen to this because I'm going to spoil it, and I'm going to spoil it really quickly, so it's not worth watching. But the group secured the prison. They killed a bunch of zombies. They showed that over the winter they've overcome some pretty physical hardships that have taken the toll on the group, and they've come across some prisoners inside the prison. I know, shocker, right? There's about 5 or 6 of them. And the prisoners have absolutely no idea what has happened to the world. They don't know that everything's gone to hell in a handbasket. They've been locked in a canteen, and they're not really sure as to what's going on. The rest of the group have been surviving in this extremely hostile world with, I assume cannibals, because there's always cannibals, zombies, cannibals, looters, douchebags, all that kind of bad stuff. So it's got to the point where human life is definitely devalued. And it's really understandable, because other humans who aren't infected are people that are just waiting to be infected. Also, you never know what their agenda is. You don't know, all they are is a drain on resource, and resource is everything in this post-apocalyptic future. There's no food, there's no equipment, the more mouths is, the sooner you'll starve. So there's this whole balance between being safe in numbers, but then letting outsiders in, because you never know who these people are. So the group treats the prisoners really hostilely, and it doesn't help the fact that there's a couple of alphas in the prisoners who are a little bit aggressive, a little bit angry, And these people are in prison, so, you know, through the sheer necessity of the situation, they are bad dudes. And the thing with it is, the very first encounter with the zombies, the group tells them how to kill them, how to put them down effectively, and all the prisoners kind of go psycho. They just go into happy slapping mode, they're shivving them, they're going crazy, they're kicking them when they're down. It's like a riot in a bar or something. It's like a prison riot. And you can see that everybody's looking at this situation as, we can't trust these people because these people are fucking psychopaths. And tension builds and builds and builds, and there's a couple of different plot twists that come along that are kind of contrived, but at the end of the day, it's a zombie program, guys. There's going to be contrived moments. They have to build tension, they have to build crisis, and sometimes it takes, you know, the biggest guy in the group, even though he was told to stay with the group, who then drifts off formation, doesn't hear the zombie that's blatantly shuffling next to him, who I can hear, and I'm where the cameraman is. I'm further back than the fucking black guy, and he still doesn't hear the zombie. It scrapes him, he's infected, and then once again, one of the prisoners shows that he's pretty much a psycho. So the arrangement is to... the group of people get one cell, the prisoners get this other cell, and they agree to clear out this cell for the prisoners, but when they're trying to do this, there's this pretty hairy situation where the alpha prisoner throws a zombie onto the leader of the group, who's Rick, who we know and love, who's now, you know, doesn't take any shit, you know, do what needs to be done mentality, and this zombie gets on him and he has to be saved by the crossbow guy from the Boondock Saints. Well, I can never remember his name, but he's tapping the bald girl, the old greying short-haired bird. You see, I know all the names, guys, that's how much I pay attention sometimes. But tempers flare. Rick has this like internal struggle that you can see on his face, and they linger on it really well. The entire episodes so far have all been really well directed. I've enjoyed them, and Rick just kind of loses it. He realises that something has to be done, and he smashes a machete into the head of this prisoner and kills him. And I think it's a good decision, because this guy's crazy. He really is. He's just going to cause problems. He's way too aggressive. He's also the only one with a gun out of the prisoners, and you would not trust him. But from that moment on, it kind of left me. It kind of lost me, because the other two prisoners, sure, they could be complete sociopaths, but they immediately make them, you know, kneel down and put guns to their heads and stuff, and it all gets a little bit too hostile. And I know you have to be kind of cold-hearted to survive, and you know, it's about your kids, it's about your family, but these people didn't want trouble, and I couldn't get behind it. As merciless as I can be in games, in real life I am actually a human being, and to me I think that was a bad choice, and they ended up pretty much stranded in? That can't be a fucking word. They left these prisoners to this block on their own, and it's pretty inhuman, but sometimes that's what has to be done. One of the prisoners runs away, and Rick kind of leaves him to his fate, which is really mean. Because these people aren't a threat. One's a skinny black guy, the other one's kind of a nerdy dude who looks a bit like, you know, Charles Manson, so I suppose that's probably why they don't want him. And the other one seems like a bit of a gentle giant. He's a very, you know, well-spoken black dude. Like, I don't really get it. But, you know, I'm not in a zombie apocalypse, so who knows. But to me, I would have used their help, because numbers are dwindling. They nearly lost pretty much the chief medic of the group, who loses his leg. And they build upon, you know, some of the turmoil in the group, which is nice. There's definitely an unravelling taking place. And the intro is probably my favourite part of the show, because the intro, the way that they use the colour correction or the colour toner to change it to that really sickly green, to make everything look old, and they do the really well. You know, they do a bit of time-lapse, bit of, you know, match cutting and just sharp editing. It's really well put together. Some real nice cinematography happening. It's just a cool show that has a high budget, and you can tell. It's good television. And AMC's laughing because it's better than a lot of the TV on other programs. Than a lot of programs on the other TV networks, is what I meant to say. But I made the mistake of watching, next time on The Walking Dead. And immediately, it seems like all hell's breaking loose because a whole bunch of mechanics are taking place that I recognise from the comic, but I wasn't expecting to take place so soon. And this is not a bad thing, guys, because the faster this series, picks up and starts escalating towards sheer chaos, the better, because that is when it gets really good. Like, they're introducing the mayor guy, I forget the name of him, him who's in charge of the fake town, and the prison's getting really going, and everything's just building towards this climax, and I can't wait. It's really exciting, and the next episode airs in a couple days, so I am pretty stoked, and I hope everybody else is, because it's a great show, and if you have no interest in it, definitely check it out, because it's well worth your attention. But you'll notice I'm still shooting this boss, it's still taking forever, I'm still in a mindset where I want to preserve my ammo, but at the same time I want it to die, because if you do die against this phase, you go back to the start of it, and it's been, what, 7 minutes of shooting this boss? Oh, right there too, be careful when you go behind the bus. The reason I'm doing it is because I want to lure the boss to the barrel so I can shoot it, but if you stand there, he will tip the bus on you, and it does pretty much probably a guaranteed insta-kill. But this is the Rambo turret. This is me attempting to do some damage with it. As soon as the enemy comes near you, you can duck, but don't trust it. I just get off completely, get off the damn thing, run away. It just makes so much more sense. But a couple people have commented on some of the funny clips I put up from Dark Souls when I've been doing some random PvP, that my etiquette seems to have changed, my mindset towards invasions. Don't worry about anything like that, guys. What you need to do is you need to take some of the clips I put up with a pinch of salt, because they're generally stuff that I wouldn't upload as far as commentary wise. They're generally stuff I've done either as a laugh or something when I'm just testing things. The one in question is me using an extremely cheap Darkmoon build, and I'm not bowing, I'm just, going in to invade to kill people, and the only reason I'm doing that is because at that moment in time, it's an anti-gank build, and I was looking for gankers, and the people that I run into are generally, just victims of the build, essentially. Don't fear, it's not like I'm turning, into this super efficient killer dude who doesn't care about being cheap. In that video, I used Wrath of God. That is the first time I've ever used it online, in that session that I had, so some people need to cut me some slack. It's not like I've immediately gone to the cheap shit. It's kind of this, I want to use it to say I've used it to see what the allure is, and it's just as cheap and just as bullshitty as I've always thought it is, but it is effective, and it's really effective against gankers, so not too sure why people are complaining. I only have 3 stacks, I wasn't spamming it, it's just kind of strange, but I understand people's criticisms because I have them towards certain things myself, but I'm still going to host in the Berg, I'm still going to experiment with weapons. You're probably not going to see me healing when I do series that are specific to that nature. I'm just interested in bringing diverse content because, like, I've pretty much done my road to PvP competency, because I am competent with PvP now, so the series you're going to see are Fun in the Forest, where I do some, Forest Covenant invasions, Darkmooning when I do some punishing the guilty. I'm going to do a couple of silly series, like, I've come up with an idea of wearing full Havels and a Havel shield. Well, I say full Havels, I'm going to have the gauntlets of Thorn, and I'm going to try and just troll people by trying to kill them with the roll. I'm going to be fat rolling like a boss with the Thorn set on, in completely, ridiculous armour, and I'm going to be doing scrape damage, but people are going to be so confused they're not going to know what's happening, and I'm hopefully going to get a very fun montage of that. But there goes the boss. He finally died, the stubborn bastard, but he comes back 2 more times, and the next sequence is the hardest. The one after that is not so bad. Now I know what I'm doing. But thanks for watching, and you take care now.